tighter.
Oh, dang. Good body happy.
Things real quick to start off. You know, one, I thought maybe I'd have to come over here. I want to come over here and tell you, you know, why we're fighting. But we've seen twice today why we're going to go fight this guy. Because he's capable and willing to do something like this. 6 confirmed Scuds launched. In the division sector, in the Marine sector, and behind us, in direction of Kuwait City. So he's launched 6, well, they weren't Scuds. He's launched 6 tactical ballistic missiles today. So I don't even have, I could probably stop now, but I won't. I also know the audience I got here. Some of you aren't a part of Alpha Troop. Well, you are now, because you're TACON, OPCON, or attached to me. But you aren't normally. Some of you just got here today and still have on the patch of the place you left and you volunteered to come here from. And I applaud you guys. I'm glad you made it in time. The people who don't know, we have certain standards and certain pride, and we do business only one way here. That's to be the best and for the right reasons. So we're trained at this point. And that's all we've ever done. And I'm not some kind of fortune teller. I didn't know that we would end up here. We were just doing what's right anyway all the time along, and it worked out. I'm going to talk about 3 things. Them, him, and us, real quick. All right, the them is the Iraqi people. They're just like you and me and the wives and girlfriends and parents and kids that we have back home. They're born with the right to be free. And that's what our country's always been about. They're born with that inherent right. And they are not. They are oppressed by a dictatorial tyrant, and they have been for decades. He murders them, he gasses them, he steals from them, they get beat, people disappear in the middle of the night. And they've lived under that for years. They are young, and they are old, and they're male, and they're female, and that we will encounter them all the way from here to Baghdad. Well, all the ROE and the stuff we've trained is to ensure their safety. We are liberators. We are invading to liberate the people of Iraq. He shot 6 Scuds in another nation and our army today. He has weapons of mass destruction. He always has. He's played games with the world and with the U.S. and the UN for 12 years. He invaded another country 12 years ago and murdered and raped its people and took its prisoners and never gave them back. And he's never paid for that. He shot Scuds at us today, and he made me run across the desert and jump into Mach 4. And then I told you everything he does to oppress his people. It's payback time. We're going to liberate those people and remove that regime. This troop, any briefing I've ever come back to you, any order I've ever given your lieutenants and your NCOs, I've never said it's going to be easy. I've never bought off on any parades. I never bought off on any of that. In accordance with the ROE, the rules and law of war, and what you know in your gut and your heart, we're going to deal with any threat we encounter. Our self-defense is the utmost. And any sergeant, any specialist, any staff sergeant, any lieutenant who makes a decision based on that, the guys who know me know I'm going to support that decision. Because I told you a lot of you all knew, but some have been with me from day one, for 14 months. I've loved them like my family, more than my family. And that's how much they mean to me. But his time is over. And whatever nations support us, whatever nations don't support us, our families support us, and the people of America support us, and our president supports us, and he said it's time. We're at war. Whatever war of words and chess match and preemptive strike and target of opportunity was last night, well, when he shot scuds at the U.S. Army and the U.S. Marine Corps, we're at war. He's a murderer. Right? I heard one general, and lots of people, I've sat out there like you and listened to someone else talk to me about this. One general said, he is evil incarnate. He's the very manifestation of evil. So us, the last thing, us, this troop and the people traveling with us. It's a family and a team that, you know, never in my wildest dreams of sitting there and thinking what I wanted to do would I ever thought it could be like this. What you guys do, what we've accomplished, you know, you are the standard, you are the example. General officers talk about what we did at JRTC. Our reputation for excellence and leading, no matter what the case. Everyone knows. Pride, discipline, standards, and training those standards. That's what we're all about, and we're not going to stop just because we go north. On us, it is all about us. I've talked about them, and I've talked about him, and the president's orders to go, and there's generals commanding forces, and there's artillery, and there's aircraft, and there's cruise missiles. But when I go through that lane, I'm doing it for Sergeant Sandlin, and for Posey, and for Lonnie, and for my LTs, and Top, and Pizzo, and all you guys. Your buddy on your left and right. That's what we've built here, and that's what it's all about. So we got to push hard. You got to push hard. When you're tired, you got to go further. When you don't think you want to drink, you got to drink. When your loader, your gunner, or your dismount hands you something out of an MRE because you ain't eaten in 8 hours, you got to eat. You got to talk on the radio. You got to be safe. Basic Army standards of safety that we teach and train, from basic training till you get to your unit, to when you go to a range, till you go to a training center. If we do that, NCOs, if we demand that in the turrets and in the halls and in the trucks, we will be okay. I'll make sure that we're okay. We don't need grenades. We're not conducting mount. We're not clearing bunkers. We're not a dismount force. We're armored cavalry. You don't need to be playing around with grenades. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't even have them, as far as I know. We put a magazine in tonight, your personal weapon. You don't need a chamber around. If you're a tank or a Bradley crew member or a mortarman, you got a combat vehicle with a lot better weapon systems than that personal weapon. You don't need a 9mm round locked and loaded. If you're one of these support assets, you have the best damn cavalry troop in the U.S. Army in front of you. You don't need your M16 locked and loaded in your truck or your 113. Okay? We're gonna lock and load all our ammo, all our crew serves and our main guns here. And one by one, day by day, the realism hit. People in TA CAV probably still didn't think we'd ever go. Probably still people who thought we wouldn't go when we moved down here. I think everyone who jumped into Mop 4 today knows we're going, and we're going in a few hours. It's not tomorrow, it's tonight. You gotta stay on the net. You gotta maintain contact with the guy in front of you and the guy behind you. Hardest part, it will be this right here. Initially, we got to get out of here, get in the order of march, make sure no one's falling asleep in the truck. Leaders on the ground, knocking on the windows of trucks and tracks that don't have radios or whatever. You gotta make sure we get out of here and we get lined up the correct way. Because the entrance to that breach lane is the point of no return. But it all boils down to taking care of each other. I got the best wingmen I could ever dream for. The best soldiers, the best NCOs, the best friends I could ever want. So no matter what I'd said right now, even if I just want to stand up here in silence, I want to see you guys again. As it gets dark and we get on the vehicles, 2 days, 3 days, a couple of faces, when the formation gets tight enough that I see you, a voice on a radio. When I break this up, you're in first platoon, you got a buddy in third platoon or fourth platoon, go shake their hand. You like hanging with the mortars. Tell them to see you on the high ground. We're going to move further and faster than any other force in history. The next 24, 48 hours as we move, you're going to see more hell on earth unleashed than ever before in history. Right over your heads, going north. When we drive up on it, we're going to see the effects of that.
That's right.
And whatever's left, we're going to give the opportunity to surrender. We're going to hope they'll want to live and be one of them, just like us. But if they don't, they choose poorly, do not hesitate. Be decisive. Be aggressive. Fight your tank. Fight your Bradley. Fight for your buddy. We're going to be the first ones across the Euphrates, so I hope you're ready.
Whoa!
Be a time period we're the only ones across the Euphrates. You've earned the right to lead this attack. You've earned the right to lead through the berm, to lead during the approach march, to cross the Euphrates. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Do what's right. Check, check, and recheck. Second guess yourself as far as preparation the next couple hours. We're going to get busy the next few hours. And when we break off, we got to see the key leaders, some timeline issues, and I ever want to know. And we're going to do this together. Told you a long time, the road home goes through Iraq. We're going on that road. God bless you. Gary Owen, I love you guys. And just take a Kevlar's off for a second. two little red hearts my wife and daughter gave me, because they're not here. Chaplain handed this out. Whoever wrote it talks a lot better than me. Just moment of silence if you don't want to listen to what I'm saying. It's prayer of the cavalryman. And regardless of your MOS, regardless of whether you've been here with me for 4 hours or 14 months, you're a cavalryman. I just haven't put my spurs on yet. They're going to be on in about 30 minutes. Almighty God, who art the author of liberty and the champion of the oppressed, hear our prayer. We're the men of the 7th U.S. Cavalry. Acknowledge our dependence upon Thee and the preservation of human freedom. We know our strength comes not from our machines or ourselves, but from You. Go with us as we seek to defend the defenseless and to free the enslaved. May we remember that our nation, whose motto is, "In God we trust," expect that we shall acquit ourselves with honor, that we may never bring shame upon our faith, our families, or our comrades. Grant us wisdom from Your mind, courage from Your heart, strength from Your arm, and protection by Your hand. We seek Your special protection for our families and friends as we perform our duty. In Your name, amen.